Hey, welcome investors to the 40 Finance channel. My name's Jeff Beers. Today I want to talk about some big news that just came out on the PayPal front. They are going to be adding Bitcoin to their sort of suite of services, and it works in a very interesting way, and I think it has a lot of potential here. As most of you guys know, I'm a big PayPal investor. It's actually the second biggest position in my account, so I was very intrigued when this news came out. So I'm going to walk through it with you, and we'll try to determine, is PayPal still a buy at its current price, which is all-time highs right now? And the stock actually moved up a little bit on this news. So should you still buy PayPal, or should you wait for a better price? We'll get into all that. Reminder as always that my stock picks and projections, they're just my opinion for your entertainment. Please be sure to do your own research and due diligence before buying any stock. Now, if you like stock market analysis like this and going deep into companies like PayPal, then make sure you subscribe to the 40 Finance channel. Thank you to everybody who has supported the channel so far. And if you'd like to receive even more insights from the 40 Finance channel, make sure you sign up for my email newsletter down below. As soon as you sign up, you get a free copy of my 15-minute stock analysis report to help you do more efficient stock research. Okay, so let's jump in with the announcement. PayPal has partnered with cryptocurrency company Paxos to launch a new service. Users in the United States will soon be able to buy, hold, and sell cryptocurrencies. More countries are coming soon. In the second paragraph there, you can see that I highlighted Paxos takes care of trading and custody. So this is big for PayPal, that they can sort of offshoot the responsibilities required there. And I'm sure it took them a long time to settle on the security function and feel good with what Paxos is offering. I'm not sure if Paxos is a public traded company or not, but that might be another one to look into to play off of this news. But here's where I think it gets really interesting. The second yellow box, in early 2021, PayPal wants to let you use your crypto assets as a funding source for your PayPal purchases. This could be a good way to use cryptocurrencies for everyday purchases without having to convert them on an exchange first. There are 26 million merchants that offer PayPal around the world. For those merchants, customers paying in crypto won't have any impact. Everything will be converted to fiat currency when the transaction is settled. So in my opinion, what makes this monster news is not only can you use sort of a trusted source like PayPal to invest in cryptocurrency if you're interested in that, but perhaps more importantly, you can actually use it on a PayPal transaction when shopping at stores that accept PayPal. Now again, all this is in the future, and they are saying 2021. I think the investment side of this, or the buying and holding cryptocurrency, that actually begins in 2020, but using it in a transaction is a next year thing. So for guys like me who are sort of like 50-50 on the crypto revolution, if you will, this changes everything in my mindset from a safety security standpoint, because now I almost certainly will invest some portion of my portfolio in Bitcoin. Right now I use the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. It's basically like an ETF. There's high fees associated with it. But if I can get in on PayPal and just own 1 or 2 or whatever Bitcoin, keep it in my PayPal, and then on the flip side have an opportunity, if I ever need to actually use that basically as cash without going around to 12 different platforms, that's a pretty intriguing offer, even for someone like me who's not really in the crypto game. So again, if you think about how big this is and compare it to what Square is offering, where you can invest in crypto on their platform, you flip that over to the PayPal side, you can invest, you can buy, sell, trade cryptocurrency. That's what Square's been doing for a while now. But then you can pay at merchants in the future that accept PayPal. And then furthermore, all of this can translate into the Venmo app eventually, which they're targeting 2021 for that as well. To me, this is a really big win for PayPal, and it kind of opens up yet another door demographically for new users to come on to the platform. Okay, let's take a quick look at PayPal stock today. Current price is $211.58. I did notice before I started recording that the market was taking a downturn, so I'm not sure where it'll land, but you're up 4% today to 211. P ratio at 96.94. We'll dig into P/E ratio for a second, but just FYI, that is higher than we've seen historically for PayPal. Current EPS for the trailing 12 months is $2.18, and we have our earnings date on November 2nd. Now, the last earnings date for PayPal, they completely blew it out of the water. Historical growth in new user signups, transaction volume, and the world situation also gave PayPal an edge over the likes of Visa and MasterCard, who banked so many dollars on travel and business expenses. PayPal wasn't exposed to that, but they were overexposed on the e-commerce side, which turned out to be a really good thing during this time. You see at the top of the board, my cost basis for PayPal is $187 right now. I believe I started my position at 190 some odd dollars. The stock dipped into the 170s, high 170s in September, so I've been able to manage my cost basis down. Not sure that we're ever going to see 187 again unless that there's a market crash or pullback, in which case I'll be adding constantly under the 187 mark for myself. Okay, taking a look at historical valuation measures, off to the left is our sort of current column, right? So trailing PE of 93, forward PE of 45. Again, the current column in Yahoo always lags the real-time screen a little bit, so that's the difference in those two screens. But I circled forward PE at 45.66, and if we go back to September of 2019, aka prior to this COVID world that we live in, we can see that the forward PE is trading just under what the trailing PE was last year. Now, sometimes forward PE I think is a squishy metric because it really does bank on EPS, and I think with a lot of companies the forward PE gets convoluted a little bit. I'll just leave it at that. But from my perspective, I think that PayPal is going to hit their EPS numbers across the board and potentially grow even more EPS than already projected for 2021. So I feel pretty good about this forward PE number. Just make sure you do your own math and not just rely on this Yahoo chart. All right, so with news as big as this, we just want to peek into the TipRanks dashboard and see, hey, what are analysts thinking? Again, this announcement just came out today, so it's never easy to tell when analysts will get around to sort of updating their numbers. But we did get one reiteration of a buy today with a price target of $235. That sits at the top of the screen. If the stock goes down on a broader market dip, then that obviously would be a higher upside potential. Then as you scroll down, you can see it's pretty much buys across the board, lands about 220 to 225. The yellow lines where I crossed out people's numbers, I just crossed out the highest and lowest estimate to give us a little more clarity on where most people were landing. So I would say 225 to 235 sounds about right for PayPal. The next earnings call on November 2nd will give us a lot of insight on how to evaluate this stock heading into 2021. All right, so big news on the PayPal front. It doesn't necessarily change the stock today. It certainly does from a forward-looking view in the concept of do you want to buy today with the anticipation that it earns more in the future. But EPS today didn't necessarily change. But we do have a couple of tailwinds in our favor. Number one, PayPal should finish 2020 stronger than ever. We're heading into Q4 holiday shopping, likely also an uptick in some of the cases that we're seeing in the health scare. So unfortunately or fortunately, that turns into really good news for PayPal, particularly on the e-commerce front. Number two, with this addition of Bitcoin, you're opening up demographically your service to many more users in the crypto community, and the tie-ins of that into Venmo. We likely will be in a place in 2021 where Venmo is going to offer more services than Cash App does just with the way this thing sets out. Because PayPal actually has a stronger merchant base and an actual digital wallet that people could use their Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever they want into actual transactions. All right, so bottom line for me, PayPal at 211, 210, or wherever it settles out today is definitely still a buy. I think you're in a minimum of 1 year though. I do think you make some 1 year money at 210, but as the price goes up, those returns diminish a little bit. I would recommend a longer term hold. I'm holding for a while, so you can hold with me. But the key here is this is not a 100% runner by the end of the year. Don't think it is. The opportunity though over 3 to 5 years is absolutely massive. And with that being said, you know I've been very concerned about where the market sits today and the overvaluation on so many stocks in my opinion. Get any shares that you can afford reasonably under 200. I think this is an easy win from that spot. You got the earnings coming up on November 2nd. I feel pretty good about them, but also know that if they miss a couple things on the earnings, then you will definitely have some opportunity to get under 200. Then you're riding this wave into 2021 with so many tailwinds. All right, guys, that's my look at this new PayPal Bitcoin connection. Please give me a like and subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. Thanks to everybody for your support. We'll see you on the next video.